Greetings, Moonlight Citizens. This is your man on the moon, here with a very special episode, harkening back to the old days. So I'm gonna slip back into an old days type greeting and greet all the fans of action movies there, fans of diehard, fans of WWE Studios, all of the above, and just call you under one collective name, as I say. Good morning, dieharders! Who's ready to live free or die hard with an Ambrose? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing the 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown movie. The Dean Ambrose starring action film inspired by movies like Die Hard and a little dash of Home Alone for all you in there. Yeah, we got a bit of Assault on Precinct 13 for good measure. But anyway, we're going to dive right into it right here and now on the Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. 3, 2, 1. Before we really dive into it, I'm going to provide some very much needed background on the 12 round series as it stands. I don't need to dive into the previous 12 rounds movies, but for the sake of context and because I already made the thumbnails and it's got the other 12 rounds movies in it, I have to. So yeah, let's dive into it with the very first 12 rounds movie. It is 12 Rounds, starring John Cena, directed by Rennie Harlin, the director of Die Hard 2, the producer of Speed, Rennie Harlin. Yeah, that's right, you know Rennie Harlin. This movie was distributed by Fox, directed by Rennie Harlin, and made by WWE Studios, with its main lead, John Cena, as he must undergo 12 grueling rounds of tests put forth to him by a villain in an effort to save his kidnapped wife. Which, let's face it, is basically Rennie Harlin's Die Hard with a Vengeance, and it was a great movie. Well, to me, I enjoyed it. It had a budget of $6.7 million and a box office of $17.3 million. A great film. I liked it. I recommend it, and I would rewatch it if I could find it anywhere. But anyway, moving on. Afterwards, in 2013, we switch from Super Cena to the man with the 3 most devastating letters in all of sports entertainment, Randy Orton, in 12 Rounds 2 Reloaded, directed by Roll Renee, produced by WWE Studios and 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment, which released on July 4th, 2013, originally set to star CM Punk, but, if you want to know the full story behind that, listen to that episode of Colt Cabana's podcast he was on. He'll tell you all about it. But looking back on this movie, I can't help but wonder, man, what movie we could have gotten had CM Punk been the star of 12 Rounds 2 instead of Randy Orton. Granted, Randy Orton is still good. He's still really good in this movie. But, man, how different would the movie been had it been CM Punk? Anyway, the premise of this movie is simple. This paramedic, he's being put to a task. He has to survive 12 grueling rounds of tasks put forth to him by a villain in an attempt to rescue his kidnapped wife. But unlike the first movie, which took heavy inspiration from Die Hard 3, this movie takes heavy inspiration from Saw. Well, not heavy inspiration, it's not a horror movie, but unlike the first movie, which was, I think, 16 in one cut, this movie is straight up R-rated, there's definitely some Saw vibes in there, and it was good. I've only seen it a handful of times, and Randy Orton plays the role of the paramedic Nick pretty well. He's a solid actor. I mean, he's not up there with John Cena. He hasn't had enough movies to be up there with John Cena to be able to compare the two. But it was a pretty solid film. It wasn't his first film, but it was a pretty solid action movie starring the Viper, Randy Orton. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the background on the one you've all been waiting for. 12 Rounds 3, Lockdown. Not a direct sequel or spin-off, but a spiritual successor. As it doesn't follow the same premise of the previous 12 rounds, where the hero is beset by some villain to complete 12 rounds of tasks. It does still follow the 12 rounds theme, as Detective Shaw, who's played by Dean Ambrose, then at the time known as Dean Ambrose, now going by the name John Moxley, must, well, make his way through a police station under lockdown, whilst only having and fend off against multiple villains, whilst only having 12 rounds in his handgun. Hence the name 12 Rounds Lockdown. And that's about all the background you're gonna get on that. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing with y'all. You should know by now. Anyway, 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown, directed by Steven Reynolds, starring Dean Ambrose, produced by WWE Studios and Lionsgate Films, not Fox like the last time. Guess they lost the rights. But anyway, this movie came out on September 11, 2015. This is the running time of 90 minutes and a rather solid cast that includes Roger Cross as Tyler Burke, Lachlan Monroe as Daryl, and Rebecca Marshall as Captain Ellen Matthews. This is pretty good movie, dog. This is pretty... Of all the Die Hard clones, Die Hard in the White House, Die Hard on a boat, and Die Hard... Whoa, what Die Hard on a bus? This is a pretty good Die Hard clone, man. This movie is heavy inspiration from Die Hard. It's a pretty solid Die Hard clone, but I'll really dive into what makes it work so well and what some of the drawbacks to it as I dive into the review. That's the end of the background, and now we dive into the actual review of the movie right now, right here on Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. There's your background, and now we transition into the foreground. Who's ready to live free or die hard? Kick off. Little bit I snagged over there from the good people over at OSW. Anyway, Die Hard in a police station. That's basically what the movie is. As Dean Ambrose plays Detective Shaw, who's on his first day back on the job after recovering from an incident where a rookie got killed and he got shot. He finds himself trapped in a police station under lockdown with a gun that has only 12 rounds in it. A Sig Sauer, I think is what he calls it. That's what it's called. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. Hence the name 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown. Yeah, that's yeah, that's it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, a P320 modular handgun series. That's a Sig Sauer. Yeah, you see it in movies all the time. Oh, you probably don't know what it's called, but you've definitely seen it a bunch of times. Anyway, moving on. In the movie, it's revealed that the main protagonist is Shaw, played by Ambrose. The main antagonist, Burke. As Burke, there's Captain Matthews, the captain of the police station, a rookie named Taylor, and a bunch of other characters that make up Shaw's crew. There's also this one chick. I can't quite remember her name though, but I remember she had a nice rack, a real nice rack. In fact, there's a scene where her and Burke get it on, and I think the purpose of that scene was just we can have a scene like this because, well, I mean, the movie isn't R-rated, but it has this scene. It's not full on, them getting it on, but it does show her back and then pan around to show, her very exposed chest, just right up, all up in his face, and he's to show, oh, we need to pan to Burke doing something. What does a cop do celebrating a huge bust? He gets with a girl, and he gets Leela Tomas, I think her name is, but yeah, she had a let's just say she had a lot of heart. Anyway, that aside, Burke and Shaw used to be partners and even came up in the academy together, but now they're on different paths, as Shaw just wants to be a good cop, while Burke wants more than that, so he's become a dirty cop, doing deals with drug dealers, giving them drugs that the police collect in evidence in exchange for cold hard cash. And this deal has been going pretty good until he found out that his associate that he's been giving the drugs to has been stealing from him, a man by the name of Fremont. So Burke kills him and then sets it up as a drug bust. The whole thing up as a drug bust. Burke gets credit for the bust. He cuts out a partner who's been stealing from him. But there's one little snag. A flash drive disguised as a credit card is found on dude's body. And before Burke's crew can get to it, Shaw gets to it. Oh, that's not good. Now they evacuate the entire building except for Shaw. Put the building on lockdown, fill it with bad guys, and they make the move to get him. Yeah. That's basically the premise of the movie, and that's how it kicks off. There's some well, the movie is pretty well done. There's a scene in the beginning that shows, so a good dude. I mean, he's loyal to the badge. He's a good dude. There's a scene where he just drives up in his bright yellow Camaro, and there's like a couple pulls up to him. This teenager and these two teenagers. This one punk kid and his girlfriend, and the punk kid in his like sports car gives Shaw the finger, and Shaw just like without him, like he looks over for a sec, and then he raises his badge, and the kid's like, "Oh damn!" Like he pulls his face. That's like, "Oh no! Oh crap!" Like I just gave the middle finger to a cop, and his girlfriend laughs as the guy just sinks into his chair. That was kind of funny. He's like, like he's not like Shaw's not gonna arrest them. He's gonna arrest them for what? Nothing. Technically, I haven't done anything. All they did was give him the finger. But yeah, it's like, haha, gotcha, punk. Cause and he drives off, and this music kicks in. I don't know the name for it. I don't know if this movie even has a soundtrack, but it's pretty solid. It comes in at the beginning of the movie when Shaw arrives, and it plays at the end when he leaves. It's like do 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 do. It's like really, it's like soft as he comes in, but at the end of the movie, it picks up. It's like this triumphant music that he's as he's walking out of the station. It shows like this is him coming into the station. His head's kind of hung low. He's it's not where it should be, but by the end, his head's held high and he's marching off into the sunset. Yeah, it's really good. I don't know if I get a hold of it. I'll put it in the description below. But yeah, so the building's been taken. All the people have been emptied out. All the people left inside are bad cops. Oh wait, what else? The negotiator. Yeah, another thing this movie takes inspiration from. All the people are out, and the only people inside are the bad cops and the one good cop. It's essentially the negotiator. So now it's the negotiator, Home Alone, Die Hard, and a little bit of Assault on Precinct 13. Except it's not like one good cop. Except it's not people on the outside trying to get in. It's people on the inside trying to stop him getting out. But yeah, yeah, there's that. Bro, this movie takes a lot from a lot of movies, and it's okay. It's all right. It takes a lot of ideas from a lot of movies, meshes them together into a movie. But in order to piece all those ideas together, it relies on cliches and cop movie tropes, and also action movie tropes that I'll dive into later. Yeah. So Shaw's not just a good cop; he's also a really good hacker. As he manages to override the computer network that the bad guys have shut down so that he can not only get a signal out but send the incriminating evidence that was on the flash drive to internal affairs. As like, oh, you Mr. Detective Shaw, who's been on leave all these months, are also a great hacker, great enough that you can hack the police station network to send information to IA. Granted, the bad guys stopped this before it happens, but the fact that he was able to pull this off even a little bit, it's like, what else he do? Oh, he's good at hand to hand. He's a crack shot. He's a great hacker. He's like all this stuff. He's like handy. He knows how to use things in the environment to his advantage. So he's John McClane, Kevin McAllister, and what's this? Oh yeah, and what's his name? Crash Override from the Hackers, apparently. Like he's all this stuff. I'm just kidding. This movie is so much from that. There's even a guy in a chair watching all the cameras, telling the bad guys where the good guy is. Like that black guy who was in the first Die Hard. I can't remember his name, but he was like, "Oh my God, the quarterback is toast." That guy. If you know Die Hard, you know that scene and that guy. Except he's played by Lachlan Monroe, so he's not a total nerd. This is the dude in the chair, saying, "Hey, he's on the elevator, or he's on third floor, he's in the motorcade." It's all It's basically Lachlan Monroe, solid B-list actor, man. He's really picked it up, man. He's not just a side guy anymore. Like he's not. He's moved. He used to be on the status of that guy from all those movies. You'd see him, and you'd seen him in other movies, but like you never really stuck. But now it's like, oh, he's definitely like a solid character actor now. He was on like Riverdale and stuff, but yeah, he's the guy in the chair. So yeah. Close-ups, quick cuts, and shaky cam are order of the day in this film. Here's some of the negatives. I've listed all the positives I can, but here's some the shootouts are pretty good, but other than that, close-ups, quick cuts, and shaky cam are order of the day in this film, as all the hand-to-hand fights are full of this stuff. done to make the fights seem more interesting, but in practice only serve to hide how uncoordinated and clunky some of these moves are. Dean Ambrose is a WWE superstar. You'd reckon he's good at this sort of thing, and he is. But you wouldn't guess that by seeing this. If you hadn't seen any of his matches beforehand, look, given how clunky these fights are, you wouldn't guess that, this guy does this for a living. Granted, it's not WWE pro wrestling isn't stunt acting, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of what makes stunt acting work in that, and there's a lot of what makes pro wrestling work in stunt fighting. The art of making a blow look devastating without actually landing it and making the guy look devastating making and actually it be devastating. Sorry, but yeah, you wouldn't guess that by seeing this. There's a good fight scene in the movie though. There's a scene where he fights this chick, like the one female villain in the whole movie, and have a pretty good fight scene. And dude, action movie cliche number one: the good guy and the bad guy. Oh, I'm gonna get to those. I'm gonna get to those. Oh, before that, there's more proof this is just Die Hard in a police station. There's this movie's version of the thanks for the advice scene from Die Hard when Shaw's being shot at by this Burke's right hand man. He's got a bulletproof vest on. Shaw tries to shoot him, but he hits him right in the vest and it does nothing. The guy says, "Let me give you some advice, Shaw. Try aiming for a part that's not covered in Kevlar." Then Shaw shoots him right in the head immediately after that and goes, "Like your head?" Yeah, right. Straight up the thanks for the advice. He's like, next time you got a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate. Bam, 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 bam. Thanks for the advice. Just that's literally like kill the bad guy, could be remark, fail. Like, but I will give the movie props. Each bad guy dies in a different way. Like the chick he has this one fight with, he doesn't shoot her. They have a fist fight, and he manages to get a hold of his gun. They wrestle with it. A gun goes off, like the shot goes off, and for a second they both stand there. And that's an action movie cliche number one. A gun goes off while two characters are wrestling with it. Someone got shot. Who is it? But then there's like this moment of like, damn, did the hero get shot? Did the villain? But then one of them immediately slumps to the ground. Yeah, that's another action movie cliche number two. The bad guy has the good guy dead to rights. But instead of shooting him to get what he wants, he chooses to monologue. And when he has the chance, see in the movie Burke, there's a scene where like Burke knows that Shaw has the flash drive on him, and he's got him dead to rights. He's got a freaking gun to his head. So why did he just shoot him and take him from him? Why does he do this thing about like give me the drive? What do you mean give me the drive? Just shoot him and take it from him. You know it's on him somewhere. You're trying to shoot him. That's the whole reason you're chasing him down. You're trying to kill him so you can get the drive. So why are you bothering with this? Give me the drive. Just shoot him. Get it over with. I don't want the hero to get shot, but realistically, you wouldn't do this. You can't have moments where Burke is smart enough to tell his subordinates to go one way so that they can find a unique way to trap Shaw, or smart enough to know that Shaw is trying to trick them somehow, or immediately know what Shaw is trying to pull off, and yet have him in a moment where he could easily win do something stupid. Like just plot-induced stupidity, man. Another action movie cliche number three. The character puts down their gun so they can have a fist fight with someone where they could just shoot them and cut it over with. There's another scene where they catch Shaw again, and Burke has him dead to rights, and instead of just shooting him, he puts his gun away and he starts beating on him. Like, what are you doing? I thought only good guys did that crap where like, nah, shooting is too good for you. I'm gonna beat you up with my bare hands. Like, what the hell? Action movie cliche number four. The hero has one person they can trust. And it's, I remember this. I say it the same way every time because I saw it in the movie Shoot 'em Up, and ever since then I've been noticing it everywhere. I hate those lame action movies where the good guy has one guy they can trust, and it's that guy that ends up betraying them. Because this happens again. Like, not again. This happens here. Like, because the whole movie, the whole station has been under the idea spread by Burke that Shaw has gone crazy. He's killing cops for no reason. He's snapped. He's crazy. He's just killing people. We're trying to take him in peacefully, but he killed a bunch of our officers. We did take him down. Everybody believes that except the captain. So the one person Shaw can trust. And it turns out not only is she with Burke, she's the one in charge of the whole bad guy operation. The one person you can trust ends up betraying. The captain that's been helping Shaw the whole movie is actually in cahoots with the bad guys, which leads to action movie cliche number 5. The villain kills their partner so they keep the money for themselves. Rather than shooting Shaw when the captain has, dude throw his gun down and like she's got him hands in the air, like they've got him, they've won. Burke decides, rather than shooting the hero, Burke decides I'm gonna shoot Captain and cut her out of the deal. Like this is my operation now. I'm just thinking, what? Why do you just shoot Shaw and then if you must, then shoot her? But dude, this is another dumb thing. But I've seen enough cop shows to know that they can match slugs to weapons. If when they do the autopsy, even if you did manage to kill Shaw, when they do the autopsy on the captain's body, and the one other guy that you shot, they would find that the slugs in their bodies match the bullets in your gun. They would know it was you when that happens, so this plan would have fallen apart anyway. But anyway, so the movie ends. And the final action movie cliche: the bad guy monologues, thinking they've won. Nobody can touch them, and they like, oh, I want to savor this. Like if you just fired, you'd won. But anyway, not that. They think they won and nobody can touch them, so they say their whole evil thing. They expose themselves to the hero because they're like, you're going to be dead in a few minutes. Only for the hero to reveal the fact that they were recording the whole time and everyone heard it. Oh, gotcha. And then as they go to arrest Burke, reaches for a gun and tries to, take aim. But Shaw, with his last round... Oh, I missed something. Over the course of the movie, he's been expending rounds, taking out the bad guys. There's even a scene where he's like, 8 rounds, 6 bad guys. Love those odds. And, hence the 12 rounds thing. But, like, in the end, that last round, he turns, nick of time, bang! Fires at Shaw, but he doesn't kill him. He shoots him in the leg, allowing the other cops to detain him. Earlier in the movie, when Shaw was on his first day back work, this is still the first day, by the way. He was, first moment back in work, he was hitting the shooting range, and he had a conversation with Burke. Hey, sorry about the rookie, hey, at least it was a headshot, like just... If you ever needed a "this guy is the villain" conversation, like all movies do this, they need to establish right away that this guy is the villain somehow. So they just have him say some stuff like that. Yeah. But in that scene where they were discussing whatever in the shooting range and pointing out, like, yeah, that's the Xuxiao, it has 12 rounds. At least it was a headshot. Blah, blah, blah. Saying all that, Burke goes, kick ass on your first day back. And he leaves. This gets called back at the end of the movie after Shaw shoots Burke, and he walks up to him and goes, "Guess I kicked ass on my first day, huh?" So I guess I did kick ass on my first day back, and he walks off. And granted, this dude's been shot. He was bleeding a moment ago, but he manages to patch himself up. Another thing straight from Die Hard, where the hero gets injured, patches himself up, and then his injury doesn't really come into factor for the rest of the movie. Even though he's injured, even though he's all banged up and bleeding, he's able to walk off triumphantly. And the music swells, ba-dum-bum-bum. It's got more brass this time, ba-dum, because the movie's over and the heroes won. Yeah, that was that. So, roll credits, man. It's not like, that Dolph Ziggler movie Countdown where he walks off in slow motion and you hear, remember yesterday, the games we played. And no, it's not like that. It's just, dude walks off into the sunset and then bam, that's it. Roll credits, starring Dean Ambrose, Shaw, Lachlan Rose, blah, blah, blah. That's it. That was the credits. That's the movie. And it's the end of it. Whew, man. That movie, man, Die Hard in a police station. Novel idea, man. Really solid. But, well, the movie's rating on Rotten Tomatoes got it to 50%. IMDb gave it a 5.1. Voodoo gave it a 4.1 out of 5. So, Yeah, see, I mean, I can get why you said that. This movie isn't for everyone. Like, if you're a fan of action movies or a fan of diehard esque films, if you're a fan of diehard clones, you'll love this movie. A fan of Dean Ambrose, you'll love this movie. A fan of John Moxley's, you'll love this movie. You know, it's just, this is the. It was a solid film. It was. Yeah, it was a solid first movie for a guy, in term if he it was a solid first movie in the sense that if you wanted to pursue a career in acting, you definitely be cool with referencing this as the first movie you've been in, and it's a solid first movie. Even if you didn't, it's something you can say, well, you ticked that off your bucket list, you did it, and it was good. You don't need to do it again. The movie you did it in was pretty alright. Whilst the previous movies had their budgets and box office listed, in this one doesn't. It's not here. It's hard to find. I don't know how much this movie cost, nor do I know how much it made. So, given that it was likely a straight to DVD film, I will never know. Considering straight DVD films are still being made today. So, oh well. Anyway. So you want to know my take on the 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown, the 2015 action movie starring Dean Ambrose. What did I think this movie cost as well? Not cost. What did it cost? I mean, what do I think about this movie? Well, I think this is a solid action movie. And I laid out, if you like these kind of movies, you'll definitely enjoy it. If you don't like these movies, then it's not bad. Outside of the fist fights being hit with that Jason Bourne shaky cam and the quick cuts that don't really add to the action and in fact distract from it, it's one of the better WWE Studios movies. It's not Marine 4 or Vendetta or it's a solid movie. It's right up there with. It's not quite up there with movies like The Marine, The Condemned, or 12 Rounds, which are some of WWE's best movies, but it's certainly pretty up there in the ranks of it's there with The Marine 3 and Condemned 2 and 12 Rounds 2, Those are pretty solid films, and those are the B plus players of WWE Studios movies, essentially, It's not your A-list, but yeah. My personal rating of 12 Rounds, I would give it let's give it a 6 out of 10 badges. Yeah. Everyone else writes this movie as a 50-50. They give it 5 or 5.1 or whatever. I'm giving it a solid 6 out of 10 rounds. Yeah. Movie is definitely this movie, I enjoyed it. I would rewatch it. In fact, it was very much a rewatch in which I watched this movie. I watched this movie in high school, like a year after it came out, when I was finally able to get a hold of it. And when I saw the trailer, I was definitely interested to see what kind of actor Dean Ambrose would be, especially in this kind of premise. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a different 12 rounds to the ones that came before. He's not an everyman. I'm granted johncena and Randyorton weren't everyman or whatever. I mean, Randyorton was a paramedic, but yeah, so they weren't thrust into, crazy situations. They weren't thrust in situations that were hard to believe. This is possible, one good cop against a team of dirty cops. It's, fairly standard action movie stuff. But yeah, it worked. The stuff that worked, and the stuff that didn't detract enough to downgrade the overall experience. Definite 6 out of 10 rounds. Would rewatch. Do recommend if you're a fan of this kind of movies. Yeah. This has been Moonlight Kingdom Reviews, and that has been the review for Dean Ambrose starring, Steven Reynolds directing, WWE Studios and Lionsgate producing action movie 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one, folks.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I used them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your